let's talk about the proper form of invocation that you're going to use when you are writing these invocations. All right. So the very first thing we say is, in the name of the spirits of my family, mother's side, father's side. So that's the very first statement that's made. And in that statement, we're saying that all of our spirits are coming to be present. They are granting us their authority so that we can do the work that we intend to do, so that we can exert dominion over another force. And as a Vuduzan, as an Unga, the next thing I do is I invoke Legba, and to make sure that the gates are wide open, and Kafu, to make sure the way is open so that the Luas, the spirits, can come and be present. And the third thing I do is invoke my head spirit. So if you're not initiated and you're not a head, and you don't have a head spirit, it's never been identified, you don't know anything about that stuff, I would always just stick to the ancestors. Now, if you've built a relationship with a spirit based on things from like some of the previous videos where we've discussed like building these relationships, you can ask that spirit to step in and give you some authority. All right. Now, if you have some form of consecration that you've received, any type of consecration, all right, you can actually invoke your consecration. You could say, I was baptized here on this day by this person, so on and so forth, and invoke the baptism or the anointing that you've received. Patron saint isn't quite the same. Kashim, your patron, you need to have a relationship with it. Otherwise, it's just, if you've established this relationship with a patron saint where you are certain that you and that spirit have a strong relationship, then you absolutely can invoke that patron saint. But some people, they just tend to select, spirits to be their patrons, which I don't recommend that you do. You might have even an imposter that is in that role. So yeah, like the Marian consecration, you could invoke the Marian consecration when you're doing any type of work, and you should try it. I highly recommend that you try it out. Don't just take my word for it. Try it. When you are making a bath for yourself, or you are doing something for the spirits, invoke the consecration that you've received and see how things are different. So we've made our invocation, okay? And after that, we want to begin to outline the things that we want to happen. Now, when we are asking for things or demanding things, we want to be as broad as possible. Okay. We want love. Well, love comes from sweetness. So it's like, I want this person to be sweet to me. Okay. And in that sweetness, I want to make sure that they give me no problems whatsoever. They are just always sweet, always being agreeable. Okay. And that I want from that person to give me what I want. Okay. So it's pretty simple. You say, I want this person to be sweet. I want them to give me no problems. I want them to give me everything I want. That's domination. That's a petition all in one. And when we make these demands, we're not necessarily demanding them directly from the person. Instead, we're demanding that influence from a spirit, whatever spirit you're working with, whether it's a spirit of the dead, whether it's a saint, no matter what. Okay, this is the way we go about formulating our desires. And the last thing that we do is, after you've written your petition, if you're not initiated, we sign our names. Okay, you put your name there as your signature of authority. Initiates will have different protocols, but this is strictly speaking for the non-initiates. It's your commitment, because these petitions are two-way streets. Okay, we want to make sure that we are committing ourselves to that spirit. Now, you can also have petitions where you are bringing a spirit into your fold, and in that you're saying, you're explaining to the spirit what that spirit's going to gain by being with you. I'm going to make sure that you are always taken care of, that you are fed, that you get liquor, that you get incense, that you get worship. Okay, and in exchange, you will take care of all of my business. Make sure that I'm protected. Okay, you'll bring me money, bring me wealth. Make sure I always have good health. Make sure that I have a long life. All of these things. Okay, we don't want to come across, you don't want to write your petitions like you're micromanaging. Okay, because unless you are gifted with perfect vision of the future, things will change for you. Your situation may change and your needs may change. Okay, that's why we want to keep things broad. Take care of all of my business. Okay, always protect me, always make sure that my health is good. Okay. When we talk about good health, we're talking about being free of real disease like cancer, chronic ailments, all of that. You will still get a cold from time to time. I still get the occasional cold. Sometimes I get the flu, but I don't get chronic ailments. In fact, if something chronic were to begin, I would start pulling apart all my stuff to figure out where the mistake happened. Um, and we want to make sure that we always have good luck and good fortune. So, if you're getting into the minutia of the relationship in a pact, more than likely you're going to be disappointed with your outcomes. Keep it broad, keep it simple. Okay. When you have a good spirit, we are, okay. So we are systems of systems, right? We are a system of systems taking place. And our bodies are little microcosms of the universe, right? So when we are dealing with these different forces in the wild, we're also dealing with these forces in ourselves. When we seek that balance between forces and ourselves, we tend to heal faster. We tend to have good luck. We have clarity when we're thinking. We have motivation that we otherwise wouldn't normally have. We sleep better. All of these things your sleep should be solid if you're a magician. You shouldn't be experiencing brain fog. And not just because of the focusing exercises that you do, but because of the energies that you deal with. Your mind should be relatively sharp. So I'm not speaking about intelligence. I'm talking about your ability to make decisions, your ability to judge situations. Intelligence, it's what you're born with. You don't need to be an Einstein to be a really good magician. Okay, so when we break terms of a petition, when things, as Paul's asking, how do we break and the terms of the petition? So what you have to do is take the wanga that you made, your magic, whatever you've done, you need to take that and return it to nature. In returning something to the place where you got it, you will in fact break the petition. If you did a work with a dead person from a cemetery and you took dirt from their grave and you changed your mind, you need to go bring it back to the grave that you took it from, and return it. You have to pay that spirit. You want to say, hey, uh, we're all good here. Thank you for what you did, but there's been a change of plans. You pay that spirit. You give that spirit some reward like liquor or tobacco or whatever, and then you leave. Okay. If he's saying it's true, if you got a spirit from the waters, you take it to the waters where you got it from. That's how we get out of petition. I haven't personally had an experience with a spirit that tried to cheat its end out of a contract. Um, I've Instead, what I've done is got into contracts with spirits that weren't specialized in what I was trying to do. Okay. And that the goals that I gave were not achievable in the ways that I thought they would be. Like I wanted a supernatural solution to a problem that required that where I was lacking understanding on the mundane portions of that problem. And while I did like get some money that seemed to come from nowhere, there still had to be a vector for that money to come to me. When I tried to do that same work again, like I got enough money that I needed. I called a spirit because I needed to move. I had very little time to figure it out. And I needed money and I didn't have enough money to move. So I called a spirit, asked the spirit to do it for me. Boom, money showed up. Um, and I didn't even know that vector for money existed. But then I tried to do the same thing again, and I had no more additional vectors for money, and it didn't quite work out the same. What ended up happening was I got a second job, and like immediately though, I walked in and said, "Hey, I want to work here, and this is what I want to make," and I was hired on the spot. So, which was kind of weird at that time because we were in a recession. This is like back in 2009, and that wasn't the ideal way for things to go. It did feel like the spirit tried to back out of it, but upon reflection, that was my lack of understanding of where money could come from. So it's you want to make sure that the spirit you're working with is specialized in the things that you want to do. All right. If you're going to a mechanic and you're asking him, if you're going to a car mechanic and you're asking him to fix your AC and he does like a crap job fixing your AC, did the car mechanic cheat you, or did you give the car mechanic a task that he wasn't specialized in? That's it. For the petition to be honored, is physical appearance of the spirit required? It can physical appearance. All right, let's talk about that. This is something that a lot of people like to throw around. Oh, you have to get visible manifestation, or it didn't happen. But they never clearly define what physical manifestation is. Do I have to see something with my eyes? Does it need to be a material basis for the spirit to manifest in? Now, I have had spirits appear where I could see them with my eyes. It was as though they were solid, but in the past, I've achieved that manifestation with smoke. Um, One of the best successes I had was working with a fluid condenser that I was heating up in a fondue pot, and the mist coming from the fluid condenser formed into the shape of the spirit. And I could see the spirit's face, eyes, everything was very detailed. It was kind of spooky. It was spooky. What am I saying? Kinda. It was very spooky because that was one of my first experiences. Um, so in terms of physical manifestation, what does that mean? Is it like you're in the process of doing these invocations and there's a knock coming from a door where you know you're home alone, the spirit letting you know that it's there? What is meant by physical appearance? Are we talking about it appearing in front of your eyes? You see the slippery slope of logic that begins when we don't use our words effectively. And it's also a way for people that are hucksters to deceive people into believing that things need to be a certain way. Um, it should be enough to know that the spirit is there. When you're in the presence of a spirit, there is an unmistakable feeling. And each spirit has its own sort of vibe, but there's always an unmistakable feeling. Though there will be a shift of pressure in the room, okay, because they do occupy some space, although we can't see it. You'll feel the pressure in the room change. You'll feel something in your head. You might suddenly have an image in your mind of the spirit, like just being there in the room. You might hear a voice. It's different for everybody because we all are working with slightly different hardware from one another. Some people can see them, but that's a very, very rare gift. Okay. And I don't know if people would really want it, because it would drive you crazy if something could just pop up in your vision when you don't want it to be there. So no, you don't need to have a physical manifestation. You could have had dreams of that spirit telling you that it's there to be helpful to you. Usually, if you're going to go the dream route, you want the dreams to precede the work. You need to state your intentions and then put water out and let your spirits come talk to you. And if the spirits are agreeable to you, then you do your work, then you write your petition. Because of, and this is the reason why you don't need them to come and the spirit must come and lay their hand upon your wand to swear their oath of loyalty to you. You need to see them. No, that's silly. Absolutely silly. Absolute nonsense. Um, and I know there's going to be some vague booking posts about everything I've just said. There's going to be some people that are going to vague book about it, but when you see somebody talking about physical manifestation, how important it is, from this point forward, they're talking about me, because they are butthurt about it, because it's everything they lean on to create an identity for themselves. Oh, there has to be physical manifestation. Never mind if I don't properly articulate whatever I mean by it. So, anyways. No, if you are deal with spirits through dreams, and you express your desires to them, and you dream, and they come back and they confirm your desires, you just have to write out your petition, put it with a candle and a glass of water, and know that it's accepted. Boom, done.